And then you have, of course, greetings, and welcome to Phantasy Online, Blue Burst. This is the most recent version of the original Phantasy Star Online, designed for use on the PC. This game originally, that's the wrong technique, hang on. This game originally released on the Dreamcast, and then was ported over to the GameCube and Xbox, and I think one other thing, I don't think it was on PlayStation. Maybe there wasn't one other thing, I'm not sure. But after Ultra PSO2 day, I kind of felt like I needed to take a break from New Genesis, just from wear down, I guess. I don't find grinding for PSE Bursts in New Genesis all that enjoyable, to be honest, which is weird because I used to love just going down the halls in any map in this game and just mow down enemies with forces specifically. So I thought I would show off what that experience is like with this video. I'm not doing any quests right at the moment. This is just me wandering through mines on very hard in episode 1, because I tried doing this on Ultimate and got absolutely destroyed. Because I'm like, this character's like a level 103, which is not sufficient. I was originally playing this on the Destiny private server because you have to play on private servers to play Blue Burst, because the official servers closed down, I think in like the Naughty Audi somewhere, like before 2010. That's just going back where I came from, so I guess I need to go here. It was a long time ago. The thing was, I was kind of wanting to see if I could get a party going, because I'm not really familiar with the best quests for leveling are at higher levels. I'm just made 8. No, it's not 8. There it is. But Destiny, more often than not, has like a single-digit player base, and usually no more than 20. Yeah, it's a very unheard of private server, I think. So I deigned to get on the Phantasy private server for the purposes of getting a quest going with some people, and that has not worked out. So I am grinding in Phantasy by myself. The main reason I wanted to do this is to kind of show off what Force was like in PSO1, since I've shown off, I think more than once, what Force is like in New Genesis, and I don't think I did for that in PSO2, but PSO2's Force is a lot less entertaining to play than New Genesis's Force, so there's that. Let me hit F12. It is important to note that this is an old game and therefore has some limitations, and some of those limitations can be put into the player's favor, I guess. Just gonna spam Razond here. So I think in order to do this properly, I need to talk to about the techniques itself, because Phantasy Star Online, as in the first one, it didn't have skills to a lot, and it didn't have augments to go on weapons. The closest thing it had to that were augments for weapons, for armors. Augments for armors, and you had to find them. You couldn't just buy them. I mean, you could buy them, but you couldn't buy any of the good ones. Most of this game's best in slot gear has to be found in the wild. Buying items from buying gear from a shop is mostly for the lower level experience, which I don't intend to show because there really isn't anything noteworthy there. Let me pop a Tri-Fluid. And right here is probably like the biggest distinction you might have noticed already. Is that photon points, or as they're called, tech points here, or something similar, they don't regenerate as quickly, and they're not limited to like a set pool to start with. Now, at least not in the same way it is in most every other Phantasy Star Online game that came after this, or most Phantasy Star games that came after this in general, like Phantasy Star Zero or the Portable series. In this game, it goes off mind, I think, and there might be some other factors involved. But you can get it pretty high, and the only way you can really get to regenerate is to equip an augment for it, or to be playing as a human, which Tarashi is in the Phantasy Star universe. So, I'm pretty sure in Aphenia, all my characters' material stats are maxed out except for HP and TP. So, there's this. I was thinking about something else, I don't remember. But let's go in here, I guess. So, you know what? Let me just show you how they are without attacking anything, because honestly, TP is cheap. So, Foe, Zond, which I won't show itself because there aren't any monsters here, which is understandable, and Barda. There's really no strings attached to that. They're just basically what you would expect. Zond is just a lightning bolt from the sky, and Foe and Barda are projectiles. Let's see here. Gi Foe is kind of like the tornado that it is in PSO in New Genesis, but nowhere near as good looking and nowhere near as quick. But it does come back to that. It does have a comeback for that in the terms of range. Like, you lose speed, but you gain range using this compared to New Genesis, I guess. And of course, there is also the caveat I should have said first, that you don't charge techniques in PSO1, which is probably my favorite thing about it. Going back to it now, anyway. So I don't think I can show Zond, Gizond, or Rafoe without monsters here. So let's see. This is what Zond looks like, which honestly looks more like a charged Zond in New Genesis now because it's pretty high level. And this is what Gizond looks like. Unlike the turret or just explosion in the air that is in New Genesis, let me see if I can get it to actually target multiple things here. Yeah, there it goes. I guess that's not really showing much. But Gizond just kind of like it's like a one chain lining effect. It's like the chain lining effect from Zond, except it comes from the caster. That is not what I meant to cast. Thanks. Okay. Let me get some space here. And then Gizond is, I guess, like a turret of ice. I don't really know how to describe this from the way it looks. I guess it shoots like a funnel of ice or something. And then you have, of course, my favorite spell out of all of them, although Gizond is a close second, the massive explosion that is Rafoe. Name me one Phantasy Star game that came out after PSO1 that has a Rafoe explode up to twice your height. Do that in the comments, please, because I would like to know. This is honestly, I think, the best animation for Rafoe I've ever seen. The way in PSO1 that you can kind of lead monsters into grouping together and then set off a Rafoe if they're weak to it, and just explode them all at once. In some cases, one-hit killing them, depending on the difficulty you're playing, the level of your character, and the level of the spell. The level, not so much level of the character as how high their miss stat is, anyway. But yeah, it's very, very satisfying. One of the most satisfying spells in any Phantasy Star game, in my opinion. So then you have Razond, which is basically Razond and Ravarda are very similar in that they're just basically a field of electricity or a field of ice, respectively. I think Razond and Rabarda are best used as a means of getting paralysis and freeze off, respectively. They're not really that impressive or satisfying to use as a source of damage. Although I think Rabarda might be the best ice spell to use for damage. Although I think like Barda itself would be the cheapest if you align your shots right, because it does pierce. And then, of course, you have other useful spells. This one is Resta. It's a heal spell. This one's anti. It removes any status ailments you might have. You should have already seen me use that once, I think. This one is Reverser, which I can't show because I don't have anybody playing with me at the moment. Where all Reverser does is revive your allies. Which is so this spell is where the term Reversa Sigma came from. And if you're wondering where Ryuker devices came from, as I call them, I don't think they're actually called that. But this spell creates a portal that brings you back to the main hub of episode 1, because this is in episode 1. If I was in episode 2, it would bring me to the main hub of episode 2, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's no earth element that the portable games had. There's no wind element from PSO2 or New Genesis. None of those were made yet, I don't think. I'm not trying to target you. There we go. So yeah, honestly, the combat is very simple. And that might honestly be what I enjoy about it the most. It's just, you just go from place to place and blow stuff up. From a forces perspective anyway. I really don't have any weapons to show you, because I don't really use weapons as a force. I basically equip whatever gives me the most mind stat, and that's it. Although I know there are some like armors and weapons and augments, I guess, for lack of a better term, because I don't remember exactly what they're called in, I think just units in PSO1. I know there's equipment that can give you other benefits than raising your mind stat, because, or it's not even called mind, the abbreviation is MST. I'm not quite exactly sure what that stands for, but I know it's basically the raise this to make your spells, your technique stronger stat. But that has a maximum limit in this game, so putting everything in mind will stop working after a while. So, and I could show you some of the in-game gear, because I have some of it in Destiny, but I don't have it here. So. But yeah, honestly, as limited as the maps are in this game, I honestly feel that's to this game's strength, in the sense of, even though like the maps have like a set way that they can form together, and it's just like randomly or procedurally generated how they connect, and honestly it can feel like exploring sometimes, and the world feels like it serves more of a purpose than just a place for you to fight mobs in, which is how most of New Genesis feels like to me. So that's basically all there is to be said. I wasn't planning on showing off any quests or doing a gameplay of like a specific map of the game or anything. I'm just mostly just showing it off. Also, I'm not uploading this map as a means of hating on New Genesis. There are some things that I like that it does. There are some things it does that are improvements on base PSO2. But honestly, I'm starting to just get bored of it. Mostly it's grinding for levels and using PSE Bursts that I'm tired of. I don't mind EQs all that much, although I think they need to design an EQ that's not annoying to fight. I am kind of looking forward to the Dark Falls boss fight coming up soon. I am disappointed that they're bringing in Dark Falls this early in the game's story, but I was always more of a fan of how Dark Falls was done in PSO1, it being the ultimate big bad, and how that was done also in Phantasy Star Zero, and I think this is the Portable series, but I'm not entirely sure. I know in Portable 2 it was. But like every Phantasy Star game has had Dark Falls be the big bad, and then PSO2 changed that by making there be more than one Dark Falls split into multiple personality syndrome. And now it's basically accepted by the community that, oh, we'll see more than one Dark Falls in New Genesis, and that's just not. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of that. But the boss does look fun to play. I'm a little disappointed that it does. Well, I guess I can't really say that. I don't know. Anyway, if you got to this point in the video, it means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Farewell.